Hi guys, I'm Mario Fratto and this is Making the Case. Joe Biden is now the presumptive Democratic nominee with Bernie Sanders dropping out of the race. Now you would think that means that this is a great week for Joe Biden. Unfortunately for Joe, a former staffer, Tara Reade, has filed a criminal complaint for sexual assault with the DC Metro Police. Now this complaint really doesn't hold any water because the statute of limitations have expired. However, Joe Biden's the one who told us if a woman accuses a man of sexual assault, she should be believed. We should presume she's telling the truth. Now, there's actually a picture of Joe Biden and Ms. Reade from 1993. And I know he's innocent until proven guilty, and as a defense attorney, I fully support and believe that, and he deserves the right to be presumed innocent. However, this picture from 1993 really doesn't do Joe any favors. Why don't we take a look at that? Now that's just not a good look here. He looks suspect to say the least. Now in even more bad news for Joe Biden last week, a national poll came out surveying Democrats, and the majority, 56% to 44%, actually chose New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to replace Joe Biden. Even 55% of black voters polled actually chose Andrew Cuomo, and Biden has been touting all along his support in the black community, so that's really troubling for Joe. Now, you could see why. With this coronavirus crisis going on, Governor Andrew Cuomo looks very presidential. And then there's Joe Biden, who really hasn't seemed to be on his A game lately. In fact, he's been stumbling all over. He can't even read his notes. He's trying to read multiple times on TV and has some malfunctions with his teleprompter, all sorts of stuff. Let's take a peek at how Joe's actually been performing these past couple weeks.
We have to make sure everyone has access to maintain affordable health insurance coverage. We should be making it easier, not harder, to make sure make sense to, let me put it another way. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
With these crush of cases. And in addition to that, we have to make sure that we are in a position that we are, well, let me go to the second thing. I've spoken enough of that.
To avoid those very high numbers, we have to do at least several things. One, we have to depend on what the president's going to do right now. And first of all, he has to wait till the cases before anything happens. Look, the whole idea is he's got to get in place things that were shortages of.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much.
Wow. Is it really any wonder then that the Democrats are looking for basically anybody to replace Joe Biden? In fact, if you look back to the New Hampshire primaries, I think Joe Biden got 5th place with 8% of the vote. So basically 95% of Democrats wanted anybody but Joe. And it's really showing at this point. I think it's even talk of Hillary Clinton coming back into the race, Michelle Obama, some sort of savior. The Democrats are really in a bad place right now. I mean, could anybody imagine Joe Biden debating Donald Trump and actually being able to hang in there without making a complete fool of himself? I don't think there's a world where that's possible. And not with this version of Joe Biden anyways. But was there ever a better version of Joe Biden? Did he ever really have an A game? Let's take a look back to, say, his first presidential run in 1988. Now, he ended up having to drop out of that race because he was plagiarizing a speech from a European politician. And then those allegations actually led to more allegations of plagiarism from his past, where he had plagiarized speeches from JFK, Bobby Kennedy, Humphreys, pretty much anybody you could think of. There was even an allegation that he plagiarized a paper in law school. So this was a pattern that had emerged for Joe Biden. Then fast forward to 2008 when he was running there, and you see things like this from Joe.
We mentioned you're in South Carolina right now on the campaign trail. 30 seconds or less. What kind of a chance would a northeastern liberal like Joe Biden stand in the South if you were running in Democratic primaries against Southerners like Mark Warner and John Edwards?
Better than anybody else. And you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state. My state is the 8th largest black population in the country. My state is anything from a northeast liberal state.
So I guess that's one way that Joe thought he could relate to white Southern voters. Then let's not forget that after this happened, when he was still running against then Senator Barack Obama, he described him as the first black that was clean, articulate, and bright. I mean, I don't know what kind of compliment that was. He ultimately had to apologize to Barack Obama, which oddly enough, after that, he chose Joe Biden to be his running mate. And that isn't it from Joe Biden. I mean, there's plenty more. Let's look at this one right here, where he actually told a guy in a wheelchair to stand up while he was giving a speech.
Chuck Graham, state senator's here. Chuck, stand up, Chuck. Let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what, you're making everybody else stand up, though, pal. Thank you very, very much. I tell you what, stand up for Chuck. Thank you, pal.
Or how about this occasion when Joe Biden actually told an Indian man that he couldn't go into a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts without seeing an Indian? You really just can't make this stuff up, guys. Let's take a look at this one.
Denise, how are you doing? Well, good to see you. As you know, I got a lot of support from you, Cindy.
And more to come, I think. So.
No, I've had a great relationship. In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
And that brings us back to now, where we have the Joe Biden who calls people fat or a lying dog-faced pony soldier, or tells people maybe they should vote for somebody else. And Joe's really just all over the place. But one that I really enjoyed watching, and I think you guys will enjoy too, is Joe Biden explaining to young black children how he used to like to have other children play with his leg hair or something like that. So let's take a look at that video.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand, and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Now, I had absolutely no idea what Joe Biden was talking about there, and maybe one of you guys can make some sense of that. But I can say that we're going to have a lot of fun going forward with Joe Biden if he doesn't get replaced. So for our sake, for entertainment's sake, and for the country's sake, let's hope Joe Biden keeps that nomination in hand, and let's hope that he's on the ballot this fall. I really don't see a chance of him beating Donald Trump, and I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun watching him along the way. Guys, if you like this video, please like this video, subscribe on YouTube, like my page on Facebook, and stay tuned for more videos to come. Thanks, guys.